Evelyn Ann Stovin. My pronouns are she, they. I am the oldest child, and I greatly dislike authority. I stand before you today because, like so many others, my family sought freedom from their countries and came to America. Well, actually, my grandmother Ruby initially came to Canada, but she got here eventually, and my grandfather Ari moved to what is now Israel, but he eventually came here. He died in Boston, but sadly he did not die a free man, for the weight of the tattoo adorning his arm and the weight of his actions in a war so controversial that it still wages on today burdened him for the rest of his life. My brother grew up in Shoreline with two half-siblings before moving to Everett and meeting my dad. My dad grew up in New York with three older siblings, moved to Washington to prove to his family that he could make it without their financial support. My East Coast family is very well off. I sometimes wonder if he regrets that decision. So now here I stand before you, a product of a divorce and two breakups, wondering if meeting people is even worth it, or if I am the monster I always knew I would be. People are tricky, they expect so much from you, and sometimes what you give is never enough. Some people who have influenced me are my parents and my brother and all of my friends and teachers I keep meeting. Not all of them good, but all of them leaving their marks. My exes leave scars, questions like, why are you like this? And statements, you're a freak, you're broken. See, I've never actually felt at home anywhere. I've lived here my whole life and I've always felt like an outsider. There are no Jews in Washington, at least very few. I can count on my hand the number of Jews I know besides my family. When I was a kid, I thought my family invented a new religion. I thought we were the only Jews in the world. I never read the Bible or the Torah because the only one my family owns is in the language I can't read. I wasn't raised going to temple every Saturday. I never had a bat mitzvah. That made us outsiders in my own family. My dad's family is very religious, and I feel like they look down upon us because we aren't. I tried learning the language once, and all I heard was the awful things they said about me when they thought I wouldn't understand. But I love being Jewish, and I love it when other people are Jewish, though I never feel Jewish enough. I do not know if I ever will. When I was in 7th grade, I realized that I never wanted to have sex. Not for purity or religious reasons, I just didn't. I still don't. I've never felt a desire to. In 9th grade, I realized that women are the most magical people on earth, and despite that, I do not feel like one. I just am. I exist, and I wear clothes, and I have features. I am asexual, I am queer, I am non-binary Jew, and none of those things really collide, except being asexual is always what gets people. The community doesn't think that we should exist, and it's still classified as a mental disorder, so I cannot tell a doctor I can have my antidepressants and anxiety medication taken away. It makes dating way harder. So does being non-binary. I want to fall in love, and I will always be angry with myself for letting someone I trusted convince me that I am unlovable because of who I am, that he was doing me a favor because no one else would want me. All of this coupled with being the third parent to my brother and being raised very strictly, so I am the way I am today. My interests, my feelings are all kept secret, all kept censored because I'm never allowed to be myself at home. I'm kept in the dark, away from the outside, out of shame and fear. I am awkward because I wasn't allowed friends, and when I thought I found my soulmate, it was the exact same thing. Do what I tell you, like what I tell you to like, wear what I expect you to wear. You can't see your friends because that is unfair to me. Something I want my classmates to know is that I never cheated on my ex, but I did put up with his emotional abuse and the physical harassment that he and others put me through because I broke up with him. Also, the West cares more about dead Jews than living ones. They did not prevent the Holocaust, and even though they freed us from that hell, they would not prevent another one. And you cannot convince me otherwise. I mainly struggle with self-confidence and self-worth. I always feel like I am not enough. I've been through enough trauma to have my own defense systems. I break down at certain phrases, and I hallucinate when my anxiety or depression gets too bad. I have had 3 mental breakdowns in a day, and I fear being around people. My dream, which has always been my dream all of my life since I was a kid before I even realized it, is to escape all of this, leave and never come back. Right now I plan to achieve that through college. I'm going to go to the University of Denver and figure the rest out later. I want to make the world a better place, and I believe I can do that through historical education. I have a passion for history, and I like correcting misinformation. People have told me that I should run for president or at the very least governor, and I don't know. I think I could potentially be a good leader, but also that is a lot of pressure on one person, and the media is not kind. Who would vote for me? Our nation is divided by many things, and the world is not ready for my radical ideas. I could list all of my beliefs, but first and foremost, I would ban the Confederate flag and the swastika because I don't care what anybody else thinks. They are hate symbols. The KKK will be outlawed again. All minorities and women will have equal rights. Every space will be made accessible to all people. And the first peoples of this land will either have their land back or have better funded reservations. Federal blood quantum will end. Health resources will be easily dispensable, and we will feed the hungry and tax the rich. Reconstruct our relationship with politicians, police, and the military. The weight of God's plan will not have a bearing over the policies that we pass because not everyone believes in God's word or in the same gods. Say about me what you will, but I am not. I'm done apologizing for my existence and the space I occupy. I am Evelyn Stovin. My pronouns are she, they. And I thank you all for your time.